Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's topic tackle. What we're going to talk about today is a question that I believe Janine and I run into a lot, and I want to help prepare folks for answering this question. So, the question that we get is, how do you find the perfect company? I would do that if I could find the perfect company, or what should I look for in a perfect company? And I believe Janine probably runs into this too, but because we've been in this space for so long, all of my friends and family, whether they choose to be involved in any effort that I'm involved in or not, bring to me other companies. Have you heard of this company? Have you heard of that company? What do you think about this company? What do you think about that company? And so let's just break down for everybody and share what are the top 5 things to look for in identifying a company that's the right fit for you and that would be your perfect company. So Janine, let's get started. Let's start with the first one.
Yes. Okay. So the first one is really about the products, the quality of the products and what the products are. And I think, a part of that could be, again, about what you're looking for. Are you looking for long-term, ongoing freedom? Is that what you're working for? Or are you working for right now money? Because if you're looking for ongoing, recurring income, having consumable products is one thing that's really important. And I think it's really important that you are choosing companies that you look at the products and you also look at your audience of people and who do you know? Do you have people in your life that these products are going to be a good fit for? Because you're going to be a spokesperson products and maybe even you believe in them but you don't know anybody else that would, so you really do want to consider that as well. And I think it's important to have products that you really believe in. And one of the things that I've had the question from men, do you have to really be a person that uses the products to represent them if it's something that's in the beauty industry, that kind of thing. And I think that you can look at this like a business decision. I'm sure that the owner of Victoria's Secret is a man, and it's not like you have to use the products, but you have to absolutely believe in them, and you have to believe that they work and believe that they offer something that other products don't. And I think a good kind of acid test, if you will, is would you be buying these products even if there were no income attached? I mean, is this something that you really believe in and want to use, would buy or know that people would buy whether or not there was any kind of income attached?
Absolutely. I completely agree with you on that. The kind of things that I add to that for folks to that are on my checklist that I look at is I look at absolutely, are the products consumable? I look at, are the products patented or proprietary exclusive to that company? And that's really important to me because if somebody could buy the same product somewhere else, then it's just a business decision. It just can affect your effectiveness and your earning ability and the business size that you can create. And some companies just do, a private label on a product that is mass manufactured, just like, you go to the grocery store and you see generic versions of some of things. Well, that's available on a lot of products. So you want to be sure you look at that. And also for me, a telltale sign about the kind of company I want to represent is their return policy. What is their return policy so that I can stand behind it? And how much faith, confidence do they have in their products if their return policy is not a generous one? And that's what I'm typically looking for in products as well.
That's so important. And I think about that with network marketing companies. My experience has been that the return policy for a lot of them is excellent. And if you
Yes,
think about going into a store and buying
right,
something, you would never be able to take it back in the same way that you could, unless it was Costco. I know they have a
right,
great return policy, or Nordstrom,
right.
but that's really important. So the second thing is market positioning and timing. And I think it's really about uh, demand for the products? Is there some compelling reason that people need these products? I mean, health and wellness is a huge, huge industry, and so a lot of network marketing companies are around that topic. So you really do want to think about that. Also, that the company is going to continue to be positioned in a way that they're going to continue to innovate and continue to create products that will be in demand.
That's right. Yes, I agree. Yeah, it is important. For example, you can use the Blockbuster example. I mean, you do not want to be getting into a business that's in VHS cassette tapes when the whole world's gone digital. Just take in consideration what are the trend timelines for the category that you're representing. And I know we've also talked about the importance of, and this leads to the next one too, but the importance of time in business. When we say timing doesn't always mean you should go with the ones that are this ground level, floor, entry level company. I mean, that's not what we're saying. There is a timing in terms of the marketplace trend for something. And a company that is a category creator in an area could be new, but they are in line with what the trend is. But there's also consideration for time in business, because the less time the company's been in business, the higher risk that there is associated to it. And again, that's not the only factor. We're going to talk about some of the other ones to take into consideration. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I think the stability of a company that has been around a long time is very attractive. I think though that there are new companies that are coming out that are led by people that have a lot of experience, and so you really that brings up the next topic, which is ownership. You really do need to look at the ownership of the company and and go through some steps to vet the ownership. And I know you've worked for companies and you've
Right.
been in that ownership arena a whole lot more than I have. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about that, Laura.
Oh, I think it's really important. And you just want to be sure that the owner's vision for the company matches what your vision and your values are. I'm going to say this: there's not a management person or an owner that can make or break a company. If you have a product that is needed in the marketplace and you have enthusiastic people that are compensated for sharing it, then typically you can survive anything. And I know that because I've worked in leading companies that have been bought and sold 2 and 3 different times. And that's not always easy to transition through when you have new ownership happening and you have to maybe train a new owner on how this business model works or what their expectations are with it. You just want to be aware of that as a factor to take into consideration. One of the things that I see quite often is somebody will do a new company, start a new company, and the purpose for that owner is really to build it and to sell it. And that's not wrong. I mean, that person's entitled to do whatever they want to do. You just have to figure out, is that in, are you in for that? Are you a company builder that you just want to get in and build and make the rewards for building, which can be very generous and great? Or are you in it for the long haul, for a legacy company? And what does that owner represent? And I'm use Google, use LinkedIn, look at the Better Business Bureau reviews on a company. That shows a little bit about how the ownership views and values the company, because whoever the owners are and whoever the management team they employ should be responsible in making sure that the company is providing good service and that they're being well reviewed, and not having a low review rating. That always scares me. It scares me when I see owners that have borrowed money, and a lot of this information is public. That scares me. When I see owners that are that are really leveraged in terms of the business has to perform a certain way or else they're not going to make it in terms of their financial and fiscal leveraging in the company. And all of this typically is public information. And I just would encourage you, if you are serious about building a business somewhere, if it's a hobby for you, you may not need to go through all of this. But if you're serious, like you're looking at, leaving something that you're doing as an employee or leaving something else that you're doing and starting with a company, take the time to research. Don't just listen to the presentation. Do your own research. You can do it yourself. Google Better Business Bureau, Google the names of the owners and the people that are on the team. Look, stalk on LinkedIn and check out, if they don't have a profile, or if they just created a brand new profile, that's a red flag. If they've changed their name to start a new company, that's a red flag. And I've seen all of these things in companies that rise up and fall down quickly that you could have predicted a mile away because of that, but no one does any research. They just are like, oh, I'm so excited about what my friend's doing, and they just jump blindly into it. So do the research.
Yeah. And do the research with Google very cautiously, I have to say, because Google is scary when it comes to network marketing. I think another thing I would just add to that is if anything does come up, I would ask questions. Ask questions of the person that is sponsoring you. I mean, ask questions of the ownership of the company. Find out why. Why did they change their name? Or why did this happen or that happen? So just make sure that you are going in with your eyes open. The next thing I think is not really talked about enough, and it's so important. And it really is kind of, we say there's belief in the products, belief in the company, belief in the profession of network marketing, belief in yourself, but really kind of with the products and the company is the culture. And so the culture is number 4 in our list of 5, the top 5. And I just can't say enough about culture, because you really are going to get a sense of whether you feel like you belong. And if for some reason you don't feel like you belong, maybe you just kind of got a one tiny little view of the company. Maybe ask, to be introduced to somebody else or to experience something else, because you do want to make sure that you're making an informed decision. But you want to feel like this is a company and products and a community that you want to be a part of, that you're proud to be a part of, and that you want to represent. And there are lots of different personalities. And as you said, and I loved our little conversation about this, Laura, there's some companies that are more masculine. And, I really hadn't thought about it that way, but it's so true. And I know that if I walked into that environment, I would not feel as comfortable in that situation. There's some companies that are just really so much more about collaborating, and some are even faith-based, as we talked about. Some are really all about social media. Some are. I've gotten this sense of some of the companies just from being around the people. Some make me kind of nervous because they're just so fast-paced, and they're just, going and doing everything really quickly. And so, but that's perfect for some people. So that's why when we're talking about finding a perfect fit, there is no perfect fit, but there is the most perfect fit for you. So I think culture is huge.
It is. And the best way to evaluate culture, I believe, is not actually from a person as much as it is from observing some events. And whether those events are in person or whether those events are digital, be sure to observe a few different types of events, not just one event, but attend a few different events to see what is the energy, what is the culture of the company, what does the company prioritize, what are their core values, because their core values are going to shine through. What you feel and what you observe is going to shine through in all the areas, in the quality of the products, in the marketing, from the ownership. It emanates from the ownership. And that's why that's important. But when I talked about masculine versus feminine, is not so much gender percentage as it is energy. A masculine energy is a driven, competitive energy. Some people really love that. That's their personality style. And this is almost a personality assessment when you're looking at culture of a company. There's not a right or wrong, it just is. And the question is, do you resonate with it? Do you feel you belong to it? A feminine energy may be more nurturing, more caring, more mission oriented. And that's, again, neither right or wrong, it just is. And you will not alone change the culture. It is what you're involved with, and it's a group collective. So you can influence the culture, but it's better to decide, is this the right fit for me up front, and do that evaluation by attending a few different events, even if they're online events, not just the events that the person enrolling you is sending you to, but company events, that kind of thing, so that you can pay attention to, what are they talking about? What are they recognizing is a great way to see culture. What's recognized is an indicator of what they want to promote and to drive. So that's another way to see culture. And the last one, Janine.
Yes, and I just wanted to go back to that for a second. I think, events are a huge, huge way to tell the culture. The challenge is that it's a little bit, it's harder right now than it's ever been to attend events. And it sometimes isn't even quite the same when you're doing it virtually. But one of the things that I use as kind of a sense of what the personality of the company is too, is just sometimes I'll get texts or messages from people that are really promoting, trying to get me into the company, trying to get me into to join the company quickly. And, that could be a person, but if you get the same kind of message from 3 people that are with the same company, that's a vibe. That's a part of the culture. So for me, just pay attention to all of those things and have your kind of radar out. And the fifth thing to consider is the compensation plan. And I know that some people, this is such a big deal. I mean, a lot of people, I used to encounter this more, but a lot of people are just all about the compensation plan. And I don't know that they even really would know how to evaluate it, because a lot of the compensation plans, I gotta say, can be pretty complex. And that is why we intend to have someone that can really help us navigate that comp plan land at some point, because I think it's good to know enough. I mean, it's good to know maybe red flags, but truly, I think for me, what I would do is it would be important for me to interview, if you will, or ask to speak to a couple of people that are in the company. I want to know that it's possible to achieve success. And I'd like to do that from maybe talk to somebody that's been with the company for a while, and somebody that's been with the company a shorter time. I mean, like maybe 2 or 3 years versus 10 years, or that kind of thing. Because really, this opportunity should be about unlimited potential for anybody, not about necessarily when you got in. Because I think that's one of the misconceptions of a lot of people, is that it's all about getting in early. If you don't get in early, you've missed the boat, and so you're never going to make any money. And that's not true. So there's really a lot that people can know. What I'd like us to know is, what do we really need to know? What's kind of the bottom line that we, and that's maybe what we can learn more about when we do a show specifically geared towards comp plans.
Well, the things that I look for in compensation plan, and again, I've developed over 20 compensation plans for different companies. So I have a lot of experience in this area. The reality is, every company has a percentage that they allocate for advertising, just like a retail, just like a franchise does. And typically in the network marketing space, that percentage doesn't vary widely. Typically it's very narrow of what they are allocating, meaning many of them are very alike in that percentage. So no matter what the person that's recruiting you is saying, this company may not necessarily pay out more dollars, commission dollars per dollar sold than another company. They typically are in the same range of percentage of commission payout to dollars sold in revenue. Where you see the variation is how they cut it up, how they split it up. And there are companies that uh, that pay you for everything that you generate. And then there are companies that build a lot of breakage in their plan that say, you know what, we're going to be building fast and simple, and we are going to pay you for just this portion of what you're generating. And you need to just decide what matters to you. Then you've also got you've got to look at the money that's up front as well as the money that's on the back end of the plan, and it should be fair and balanced. If it's too much towards one end, then that's concerning. Many companies are required to produce a income earnings claim to represent what have people historically been earning at this company at the different levels. That's something to take a look at. And again, it's not so much, it just all fits into the culture. It all fits into, you know, what kind of environment they're creating. And I'll tell you, with all of these 5 factors, they are important for you to use to evaluate a company. But I would also say you may find yourself having to reevaluate what you're doing. And that's one of the things I think you cover so well in your book, Does the Shoe Fit? To be able to evaluate a company as also reevaluate where you are. And like the whole purpose of us doing this is to say, just because someone might have had a bad experience with an MLM doesn't mean all MLMs are bad. It could be that you're just not matched with the one that's the right personality type for you. And the good news is you can use this evaluation list to reevaluate where you are. And you might find out that you're in exactly the right place and that there's something else you need to learn and do differently. Or you might find that maybe I'm not, because things have changed. And that can happen, you know, with companies too.
Yes, one of the reasons we wrote Does the Shoe Fit is because what happens when you talk to somebody in network marketing is that every person believes that their company is the best company, and it really makes it hard because you know, we all believe in our companies, and when you're coming in from the outside, how do you even get gain a good perspective of how to even begin to choose a company? So you know, that's what we tried to do with Does the Shoe Fit is really be objective, offer, you know, guidelines, and then also do career comparisons between previous people, typical careers that people are familiar with, and compare those careers to network marketing, because they are so different. They really are 2 different worlds. And that's one of the things that we're going to be doing a little bit with our podcast that I'm excited about, is helping people evaluate coming from different careers, especially because right now we're in the middle of the pandemic and so many people are needing to reevaluate their career choice and you know, choose something different or use this as a plan B, or but they just want to know, you know, they come from this mindset of they're used to having a resume, and the resume will tell you if you fit this job. And in network marketing, it doesn't work that way. So that book is to help people really come in that don't know anything about this and gain a better perspective.
Well, where can anybody find that book, Janine?
Well, thank you for asking, Laura. They can find it at Amazon and our website, The Flip Flop CEO. And Does the Shoe Fit has just, we've just created the Audible version of it as well. Unfortunately, Amazon, because of the pandemic, is very backed up. And at this very moment today, it is not quite there yet, but it is coming soon if it's not there. And it's on Kindle and hard copy as well. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I'll put it in the show notes too. Thank you so much for your time, Janine. And we hope everyone that knowing the top 5 factors to consider for finding your perfect company has been helpful to you. Please drop us a review.
Thank you.